Dealing with the next of kin was always so difficult, especially in the cases where I knew the families, but even in the cases where I didn't know the families, just walking up them steps, knocking on that door, you felt like the Grim Reaper. You had bad information to pass on to a family, and in some cases, the families will open the door, they recognize who you are just from maybe the news or being in the neighborhood, and they know it's bad news. Some people will be like, where did it occur? Was he shot? But then there was some who wasn't expecting it, and when you gave them that information, whoo, you had no idea what was going to occur. One time a lady hugged me so tight, I fell to the floor, she fell on top of me. One lady ran past me, knocked me down. It was just always just a traumatic situation when you're notifying someone that their loved one had been murdered. As a detective, there's one case that stood out for me. It occurred near the Police Boys and Girls Club, and when I arrived on that scene, I saw so many people that I knew. The block was crowded with people. It was in the 1400 block of Belmont Street, which is right behind the Boys and Girls Club. And just walking up that street to that crime scene and hearing people call my name, seeing people like turn their heads when they see me walking by, I knew I either knew the victim or both knew the victim and the suspect. And just before I even arrived inside the apartment where it occurred, my stomach wasn't feeling right, because I knew when I walked up that steps and inside that apartment, I was gonna see someone that I knew. But that wasn't the case. But what it was, I knew the suspect. And the suspect was someone who I've known for years. I worked with his father for years at the Police Boys and Girls Club. And when I realized that I was gonna get an arrest warrant for him, I contacted the father, and I told the father that, I'm gonna have to see Reggie. And the father, he knew, he understood, but it was just the fact that I was so close to him. He was someone who I knew very well from the Boys and Girls Club, and we've always had dialogue. We've never had an issue with each other, and just to know that I will be sitting in front of him, interrogating him about the suspect after I put the handcuffs on him was just something that even bothered me before it occurred. And when it occurred, the respect was still there. He acknowledged the fact of what he did, and it was just heartbreaking that here it is now, someone I had great times with was now someone I was putting the handcuffs on and sending to prison. When it came to confessions, if you didn't prepare yourself before going into that room, it wasn't gonna work out for you. Now, you're talking about going inside of a room, just you and a suspect who is suspected of killing someone, and you go in there not prepared, that suspect is gonna eat you alive. So you must know about the suspect, you must know about your case, you must know everything, because if you go in there not knowing what you're talking about, that suspect will know right away, this guy have no idea what he's doing. When I was dealing with suspects, I made sure I knew everything I could about this particular individual. So what I would do is I would let them go inside the room, I let them sit there by themselves. I would go into the monitor room and I would just watch their body movements. Some would sit there all nice and calm, and then some are acting all nervous, but then you have some that just sit there and just stare. And I used to always be like, what are they thinking? But before I go in there, I made sure I knew everything about the case. I didn't want to mess up anything, because if this is the suspect, I know this suspect knows everything. So therefore, I must know everything. So I go in there, I sit down, I'm calm, introduce myself, and one of the key things that I do before I even start getting into the cases, I build a rapport. Building a rapport is very important. If you cannot build a rapport with a suspect, you're wasting your time. I talk so much about many things that has nothing to do with the case, just to show that I'm human, just to see where this person is, see if this person want to talk, to see if we can build some type of dialogue. And then once I'm ready, I then advise the suspect of his or her rights. And once we get past that hurdle, it's on. Once the suspect waives his or her rights, now it's like a boxing match. It's me trying to obtain information. The suspect trying not to give up information at the same time, trying to learn what I know about the case. So it's a fight, there's no doubt about it. But one thing about it, if I don't have the opportunity to build a rapport with this person, I know it's going to be rough. Now, if I can build a rapport, now I can use a mind game in order to get information, because I'm always allowed to lie in order to get to the truth. And that's the advantage we have as detectives.